Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a minute. It's been like 2 months since my last upload. And I feel like every time I try to step forward with YouTube and I try different things, something bad always seems to happen. Um, as you guys know, I lost a very close and very dear friend. And it's taken me a long time to try to move past that, right? I've tried my best. You know what I mean? I'm not quite there yet, but I'm still trying, and that's the point. And as I've recently discovered, it's truly this is the most truest statement I've probably ever heard, and that is, you've never realized what you have until you've lost it. And this being the month for Mother's Day, this video is kind of appropriate. I have always had issues with people. That's no secret. A lot of you know me. I'm not the nicest person sometimes, and I'm not the most easygoing, especially when I am around a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of just blatant stupid things. Right? People do stupid things that usually kind of piss me off, and I've tried to work on it, right? Like I've tried to work on that. I've tried to like let a lot of things just go down my back and not think about it. But when it comes to the loss of people I care about, um, it's really hard for me to move past that. Like it's such a hard thing. Um, for those of you that know me personally know about this, but for those of you that have followed me throughout the years here, I've never really talked about this person. You've seen her in my comments. You saw her commenting. She was going by Wind, and she used to watch my videos. Well, that was my mom, and I lost her in April, and I didn't leave things good with her. So, I mean, we've had our qualms, we've had a lot of our own issues. And I've never come out in public about it. I've never discussed it, and I've kept things down. Like I've buried all my ill will towards her in the back of my mind. And I try to put on this positive outlook because usually I am pretty genuinely a positive person. But it's hard to talk about some of this stuff because A, I truly do love my mom. And B, even though she wasn't the best mom, she was my mom. You know? I definitely wasn't the best son. I've said some pretty harsh things before her passing. Years before her passing. In fact, like it'd be almost 3 years now, of this little feud between us. And I've tried my best to think, like everybody keeps telling me, that hey man, she's in a good spot, she knows you loved her. I would like to believe that more than anything, really. But the pessimist in me just won't allow me to. I I was gonna try my best to make it up to her on her birthday month, which was April. Call her and wish her a happy birthday. Tell her I loved her and I'm sorry. And with my stubbornness, I never got to that. And that's probably one thing I got from her is how stubborn I can be. And I can be pretty damn stubborn. I've shot a lot of my friends out in my life that truly care about me. Some of you guys are online. Some of you guys are on my Facebook. During the whole Shane thing, right? I just stopped reaching out to people. Stopped talking. And I've never been good at talking about my feelings, right? Like I've never been good at that. I've always sort of just kind of buried everything deep, and I just kind of, keep it to myself. But this loss was a biggie, right? First, Shane, the one person in this world that completely got me, that understood where I came from in life. And now, the one person that I've been battling, that I still cared about, but I'm still battling, has passed away. Trying to come to terms with that. It's rough. Told myself I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I've done a lot of that lately since about towards the beginning of April when I found out. And it doesn't get any easier. My mom, one of the biggest things that me and my mom had issues with was my upbringing, okay? Everybody's asked me that has known me is why am I against government programs? Why am I not for females to getting more rights than men over their children? Well, when your mom's mentally unstable and you do everything you can to help her, especially as a young kid, like there was a lot of shit that I saw and I had to deal with. It's rough to think about that stuff and still feel the way I do about her, which is a lot of love. Trust me, I endured a lot for that woman. Because that's how much I loved her. And when I was young, I had to pretty much play the adult. I had to endure a lot of shit for her just to keep her from taking us down a dark path in life. And when you endure those sort of scenarios, your outlook on things are going to be different. You're going to see that there's a lot of bullshit involved, especially in states that make women the number one thing to take care of a child. Trust me, that's not the best thing. The best thing would be for the father and the mother to stay together and try to work through their differences, but, if anything, both parents should be psychologically evaluated before these decisions are made. She was very unstable. And like I said, I endured a lot of shit. I had to go through school out here being bullied because I didn't have clothes that were up to standards of everybody else. I didn't have school materials that I could actually use to learn with. I had to rely on hand-me-downs from friends at school and teachers because they felt sorry for me, because my mother at the time would squander our money away. It was just her work, and I was a little kid, She'd meet up with these dudes that, oh yeah, he's gonna be an amazing person. He's gonna be, he's gonna be better than your father. And that's just how my mom was. She always said that she was thinking of me and trying to make sure I had a good life. And for the most part, I believe that she truly tried for that, right? I truly believe that she truly tried for that. But deep down, it's like, I've got my own mental issues. And could never, to this day, if I had a child, put my kid through even a fraction of what she put me through. And that's why it's so hard to talk about it, because I feel so deeply for her, and you see a lot of people handle things differently, I guess, online. They kind of put up this fake facade about how they feel, and they want to play tough. They want to act like, it doesn't affect them. But in reality, when we're not behind a camera or a microphone, it affects us drastically. It does. It affects us. It fucks with our minds. That's why I don't take friendships for granted. I don't take my relationship for granted. Maybe I did back in the day when we were first starting out here and we didn't have anything. A part of that was just my own unhappiness in life. Me and Val almost broke up a few times because of my mom. Because my mom would put me through this, what I like to call a mental gymnastics phase of my life. Because she would, lock herself up in her home way out in the middle of nowhere and, threaten to kill herself, She would call me, message me these things. And that was when I came back out here with Val, and she put me through a lot. And like I said, playing an adult as a young kid, like, in other words, doing your own laundry, cleaning her up when she's drunk or drugged out, dealing with these obstacles in life as a kid. You shouldn't have to go through that, but we do, because that's your mother, That's why it's hard to talk about, because I don't think anybody wants to talk about this stuff. And I feel like I have to, in the sense, to give you guys some clarity as to like where my point of views come from. I've always had strong opinions about things, right? Like religion, stupid ass fucking video games, shit that I care about, my hobbies. Because I lived in a house with two personality types that were completely opposite of mine. My mother and my stepfather were for free healthcare. They were for government assistance, while both of them working full-time jobs and cheating the government. Like, that's what they were all about. And because we lived so far out in Golden Valley, nobody would come out there and act on any warrants or anything if they were to ever be found out about what they were doing. My father would send me money to help me because he knew I needed it pretty bad, right? She would take the money, spend on her and her husband, and tell me that, oh, this is for you. Even though they would go to dinner and, go gambling. I mean, it's just, I know this is pretty revealing, and I still don't know why I'm doing this, but I feel like it kind of helps me personally to deal and to move on, hopefully. Because like I said, this is a very, very convoluted situation because I love her so much. And I mean, we had plans to move out there to where she was living. I was gonna move out there. It's colder weather, nicer crowd, I guess. And I was gonna help her. I was gonna be the adult, and I should have just did it. If you have a mom and you experience even a fraction of what I went through in my life, just make up with her. Trust me, you will feel much better because I never got that opportunity, and I feel terrible. We got into a fight 3 years ago, and this was back when Kiru was living with me, and my mom annoyed the hell out of me. She would call me up at work and start just trying to pick fights with me randomly because she missed me. And my mom was kind of weird like that. She would just pick fights with me just to get a reaction out of me, to let her to like it was like her way of validating that I still cared about her. And she would do this when I was at work. Well, she had did this like an entire week straight. And it was my birthday. It was March 26th. And it was that night, in fact. I was on the deck, chilling like I normally do. And I got this call from her. Got into a big old fight about her accusing me of hacking all of her social medias and selling her information. Now, mind you, she continuously hammered it. Even though I said I didn't, I would never do that to her. She kept going so much that I snapped at her. And I blew up. I snapped at her and I blew up. I said some really mean things. And I haven't talked to her since. This is why I feel so heavily on some of the things I do, is because of living with a woman like that and dealing with these mixed emotions. It's hard for me to accept others or to include others into my life because of the way I was brought up. I was brought up not to trust anybody, not to help anybody, don't talk to anybody you don't know, don't deal with anybody you don't know. Like, this is how I was raised. I was raised to be very much introverted. I was a shy kid. I never got into trouble out here. In fact, the only trouble I ever got into was taking the fall for somebody else's problems because they were my friends, and I thought they were my friends. I thought they were going to be my friends for my whole life, And that was a very stupid, very dumb move. But I was almost completely an introvert for the longest time. Jobs helped me come out of my shell. YouTube helped me come out of my shell. You guys have stuck with me throughout the years here. And I had plans to come back and do these vlogs and talk to you again about my opinions about stuff and hopefully get Landon in on some vlogging. But I don't know if I want this. But honestly, like, if you have a mom out there and you guys are fighting, like, seriously, just make up. It's not worth it. It really isn't. So if you can learn anything from this 36-year-old male, it would be forgive as much as you can. Don't hang on to things. My mom tried to do wellness checks. She'd send cops to my house telling them that she hasn't heard from me and she's doing wellness check. And I thought she was just being a bitch. Turned out she was just trying to let me know that she had a stroke. Fast forward from wellness check earlier that day is when I got the news when I was at work. The coroner came all the way from Vegas to let me know that she passed in her sleep from too much water on her lungs. And that is me in a nutshell. Like, I try to move past things and something else happens. And I didn't find out that my grandmother passed away until just like the same time she passed away. And that hit me hard because I love my grandmother. It's like all my family members are dying around me, and I don't know how to deal with that. So you guys have a good day. Give a mom, a dad, or somebody you love, just forgive them. Don't hang on to stuff. It's really not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And I'm just gonna upload the video like this. All right, guys. Have a good one.